Hello, I am here to do the alternative activity for the tarot play date. Um, so, what I decided to do, because it was to do a spread that you don't like or you think is stupid, both of those fit the Celtic Cross. I'm like Simon, where it's like, ugh, no. So, I'm going to go ahead and do that challenge. I'm going to do it with my Witch's Tarot deck. Just because this is a hard-hitting deck for me. This is a deck when I was reading the book and when I did the first interview spread with it, it's like this deck is going to teach you some things, some hard lessons in fact. And I think that's part of what the Four of Cups is about. That's why we ignore that cup, right? Because we don't want to face it. That's that hard lesson you don't want to face, right? So I'm going to do the Celtic Cross spread in with that tarot. I'm going to use the little sheet that comes with the original. There's kind of a light shining on it. This little box set comes with a little mini version of the pictorial key to the tarot, and then it has that deck. I don't want to use this deck because I have it set aside and put in a certain order for a different study I'm doing. I'm doing the Tarot Constellations book, and so I have them all in order of the constellations. I don't want to mess that up, but I am using the little sheet that came with it. It's the Celtic Cross. It just has the numbers on there, so I took a gold pen to keep with the yellow goldish writing, and put down the meanings. When I first started reading tarot, I thought I had to do the Celtic Cross, especially for other people. I was like, oh, to be a serious tarot reader, you gotta do the Celtic Cross. And I hated it. I hate this spread. Like I said, I'm with Simon, like, oh. But I was like, you know what? Sometimes you have to embrace the things you don't like. So maybe through this exercise, I might find it's something that is useful. Maybe it is a spread that is very useful. So we're gonna do it. And I'm going to use a signifier, which is another thing, another layer to the things you ignore or don't use or think are useless. I don't use signifiers. I won't say at all. I have used them when I've done a spread to reach a goal. I will pick a signifier card that represents that goal and then do a spread under it. So I kind of do a signifier, but I don't do a signifier like the professional reading where you get a court card out that represents the querent and all that. I won't do that. So my signifier is going to be the Four of Cups. Here's the Four of Cups in the Witch's Tarot. You have, I believe she's a mermaid. Yes, you have this mermaid, and he's kind of ignoring her, is the take in this card. He has the Four Cups in front of him. All four cups are in front of him. He has that crossed arm. He's very closed off in this card. And it's like she's here, I think in the book she explains it, that this mermaid's here to cheer him up. And he's ignoring her. He's not taking that comfort or advice or whatever she has for him. He's closed off to it. So that's kind of the essence we have here with this card. Is that you're closed off to something. That might be very helpful because she's trying to help him. He's being closed off to help. And the Celtic Cross spread could be, because I know some people love it. I don't know. I've just always had a distaste for it. Like I said, I tried to use it when I first started reading, especially professionally, because I felt like that's the spread you gotta do, and I just didn't like it. So here I am doing it after years of just being like, screw the Celtic Cross. Anytime anybody mentions it in a tarot group, I'm like, screw the Celtic Cross, don't do that crap. So here we are doing it, and this is my signifier, is this card, because that's what we're concentrating on this week. So the signifier is the Four of Cups. Let's shuffle, and I did edge my Witch's Tarot in black, and I love it. Love it. This is the first deck I ever edged, and I love it. The second deck I ever edged was a round deck. And, yeah, that was fun. It's like Simon just found out with the Gorgons. Edging a round deck is a little different than doing a square one. So, let's get them shuffled. So yeah, that's my signifier, so that's really what I'm doing this spread for, because I know a lot of times Celtic Cross, you're like, want a situation or whatever. My situation is the Four Cups. Like I said, that essence of what am I not seeing? What am I not accepting? That could be useful. You know, that's kind of the idea, right? This mermaid's trying to be useful, or that disembodied hand, deity, God, trying to reach out to you. You're ignoring the message type thing, or you're ignoring whatever possibility. So that's the situation. You know, kind of a I don't know what I'm missing type situation. So let's get on with it. So the first card, get out my handy dandy cheat sheet, is the Influence. So, card 1, Ace of Pentacles. Oh, and this is a very bright Ace of Pentacles. So, the influence of the situation. This goes right on top of the Four of Cups. So, the influence, what's kind of affecting the situation, what I'm not seeing. Well, obviously something new, right? Something new, a great new beginning, a great present. Because a lot of times I see, especially the Ace of Pentacles, as like a present. Not necessarily a physical present, like a Christmas present. But just like, you know, anything that comes into your life that you really appreciate type thing. So I kind of see this influence, the Four Cups, as there is something, a present, something to be grateful in my life. Whether it be a new beginning, which is possible. I have a baby on the way, so, and another interpretation of the Ace of Pentacles is a new baby. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. That's the influence. Makes a lot of sense, because it was kind of a hard-hitting thing when I found out I was pregnant, because I wasn't trying. My daughter is 14. I was looking more into getting excited about having like an early crone period, you know, being childless and so forth. And so this is a totally new situation that I didn't fully appreciate at first. So that makes a lot of sense. So there's something I'm missing with this new life. Not just a new person, a new baby, a new child, but it rearranges my whole life, okay? So I could see that definitely as an influence for something I'm missing. So 2, the one that goes across is obstacles. And we have Justice, and she would look like this on the spread. She goes over top like this. All these layered cards. I think that's part of the reason I don't like the Celtic Cross spread, because I like to see the cards, and they're being covered up as we go. Okay, so Justice, balance. The obstacle is definitely balance. I think, definitely feel like I'm getting I was fixing to say, getting the short of the stick. I hate to say that, but I think that kind of makes sense. Like I said, when I first found out I was pregnant, which is where we're kind of going with this, I was seeing a lot of the bad, a lot of the challenges. One being older. This kid, I'm going to be quite old once they reach adulthood. They're so far apart from my other kid. They're going to be almost 15 years apart. When this kid's 18, my daughter's going to be my age, okay? So, you know, there's a lot of factors. I also saw it as taking energy away from my daughter, because I put in so much energy for her financially, emotionally, just being there for her. So I just kind of saw this as an injustice. So I think that's a challenge, is getting that balance. a scene where it's good. And that's something that has been happening, actually. I'm just really starting to get excited for the new baby and all that. That's kind of the obstacle, is this scene, like, oh, you know, like karma's biting me in the ass type thing. So, because I said I wasn't going to have another kid, and here I am, right? So that's the obstacle. It's getting over that old mindset, that I'm too old, or at least too far along in my life to be doing this. So, next card, the 3 card, which goes above these 3 cards all layered on top. Oh, if I can read my handwriting. What does that say? Because I smeared it. Oh, I smeared it all over the place. That's not good. Okay. I'm going to have to look at the book because I smeared my writing. So, card 3 is, oh yeah, it's the one that goes, it's his crown. So it represents the best that he can arrive at, or his ideal in the matter, what he wants to make his own, but is not his own at present. So like the ideal in the situation. And we have the 2 of Cups. Ooh, a beautiful card. A great card for a crown card. This is kind of what this card is. So, and I love it because if you really look, since this is the Witch's Tarot, it's a hand fasting going on, right? So you see the cord and so forth, and the flower crowns and all that. Of course, in front of the water because it's the cup suit. And you have this light coming from the cups. So I would definitely see this as a hand fasting going on, which makes sense because the 2 of Cups is about a partnership. So the ideal is, yes, connection, connection with my baby, and you know, with the hand fasting aspect, it makes me think of my significant other, right, and having a stronger connection with him. So that's kind of the ideal, right, is to have this blessed connection, partnership, and so forth. Okay, card 4 is what to... See, now I gotta go back to the book because I smeared it. That seems about right. Okay, so this is what goes below, and this is beneath him. It is his own, that which he has to work with and can use. Oh yeah, what you have to work with. That's what this card is. And we have the 9 of Cups. Oh, another Cups. Which is funny because the signifier is a cup, so this seems to be a cup-heavy, looking to be more of a cup-heavy spread. So the 9 of Cups in this deck is depicting this woman, and she's pouring this wine, and you see all this pumpkin and all this. This is like her, as it explains in the book, this is her preparing for like a party or a get together with a coven or whatever. So the 9 of Cups is also known as the wish card, which is interesting. So this is the below, what I have to work with. So that's interesting. I think for me, what it means is really coming to like my own happiness. We have here, oh, and this struck me too, like you have this woman here and she's preparing to serve other people, right? Her coven or her friends, having a dinner party, whatever. And that's what I have to work with. Because I've always been somebody who lives for my kids. I keep mentioning my daughter, but I do have an older child as well. They're turning 18 next month. I'm not as involved in their life, so. But I've always been so centered around my kids and so forth, and family. So I do like to serve. I do like to cook dinner, and I do like to take care of them. And I was just talking with my fiance. We're at Walmart, and we were getting stuff for my daughter's stocking for Yule or Christmas or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you celebrate. We kind of do both. Um, and or the same or both agreeing, like, it's a lot more fun to get stuff for my daughter than it is to get stuff for myself. They're like, yeah, it's a lot more fun for me to give the presents to my kids. I love it. I love how not only them being happy they got what they wanted, but seeing that I love them, that I pay attention, because I like to get gifts too where they don't the gifts they don't ask for, like things that my daughter might just mention she likes. I try to get things like that to show that I listen and show that she's loved. Is kind of the idea. The more to just giving her something she wants off of some list she made, but to show her that I listen, I pay attention to her, and so forth. So that's what I have working with here. I have in this situation, what I'm missing is I get to have more of that. So, as one kid is leaving the nest, I'm going to have another one. And it's something I always love. So there's that opportunity there. There's something I can work with and focus on. And I already have. So there's that aspect of it. And I think, again, it'll give me, like, the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is usually about contentment and joy. And I think that's what it'll give me when I do that work. So the fifth card, at least when you're looking at the Victorial Key and this, you have two different options. And okay, so the fifth card can be either in front of or behind the card. It depends on what the character in the card, where the character in the card is facing. So the fifth card is supposed to be what they're not facing. And it's funny because they're looking down. They're not really looking either way. But the fifth card is like the past. So, and we have another Cups card. The King. I see the K and I always want to call the Knight the King because I look at that big old K. It's the Knight of Cups. It's just kind of like a auditory fumble I like to do. Anyway, yeah, the Nine of Cups. So this is the past. And the Knight of Cups, he's kind of dreamy. It's like he's on a quest, and he has a tendency to get distracted in thought. I see the Knight of Cups as, somebody who likes to stare off, and get trapped in daydream to a point. Also, someone who's motivated by emotions. So his quest, is to save the princess. You know what I mean? He's there for love because he loves her so much, is his motivation. His motivation is love and emotion, and just having that. He's kind of like that person who's very dreamy, who's always like, oh, you're the one for me, or you're my soulmate type of partner or whatever. That's how I see the Knight of Cups. So in the past, for the situation, something it's not something I wasn't seeing, because I know I started with this idea that, okay, this is about a situation of something I'm not seeing, but something I don't want to fully accept. And that's another thing we or y'all came up with during the live, because I wasn't there live. I was out shopping. But that's another aspect of the Four of Cups is, things you don't really want to accept, right? You don't want to look at. That's something I'm very scared of. Why I'm not married to the person I'm having this baby with, because we've talked about marriage a lot, and we, came to a decision, and then came to the next decision of, well, why don't we just not do anything? Came to the decision to do a hand fasting, actually, and all this, and started looking at things for hand fasting, wedding, and so forth. And I was like, no, let's not. Let's just, live together for the rest of our lives. Let's just grow old together without a contract. I've had 2 divorces, and so it scares me to get married again. I'm scared to go through that again. So I don't want to accept that partnership. So Oh, the spread's kind of shifting a little bit from like the baby situation to just my relationship, which makes a lot of sense with the cups, right? It's kind of shifting a bit, but at the same time, they're both kind of evolved with each other, right? Um, this connects us in that permanent way that I was avoiding, even though I really love him. I was too scared to do like a commitment, right? Um, so that's kind of where it's going. But having a child together, that's a little bit more permanent than getting married. It's like the universe is like, no, you're gonna stick with this person for a while. Um, so okay, we'll go on to the sixth card because I'm probably getting long. Already 20 minutes in. So this is the one that the signifier is supposed to be looking at. The character on the card is supposed to be facing. And this is more like the present. I'm not going to read the whole blurb there, but yeah, it's like the present card. Another cup. Are you serious right now? Oh my gosh. So, my spread has the 3 cards in the middle and then the 4 cards around it making the cross. The arms of the cross are all cups. Wow. So, we have the 5 of cups for the present. And this card is pretty similar to the 4 of cups, isn't it? We have the mermaid. Instead of the mermaid helping out the little boy, we have the mermaid there, kind of morose herself. But it's very similar because she's really concentrated on the 3 spilled cups. And you can see the water behind her is very turbulent and wavy. It's just being in that kind of either depressed state, like I said, morose, just not looking at what you do have, which kind of goes along with the 4 cups. It's also kind of about not seeing what's there, and that could be so useful. Here it's about not seeing what's there, more of on an emotional level, like what you're not seeing the good in the situation, you're just seeing the bad. So, and that's kind of how I started out with, right? When I was talking about my baby situation, when I first found I was pregnant, I was looking at all the bad, my age, the age of my other children, the whole life-changing part of it. I was just looking at all the negatives of it and how, like I just can't do this and all this stuff, and not seeing the good parts, which I'm starting to see as I'm going along and getting excited about having this baby. So that is definitely the present. That's more going into the past. Now we do the nice row of cards to the side, the 4 cards. I think that's what I don't like about this. Like, I like the whole cross, but it's like, why do we have all these extra cards? So, starting at the bottom, the 7th card, or the first card of the 4, is yourself and your attitude and relation to the matter. So what we have here, now we got a major. We have the Magician. So the Magician, and here we have the Witch. He is making the Namaste, or the Infinity sign with a wand, and he is pointing down. There's little fairies as well, and they had significance when you read the book and so forth. He has a lot of symbols on his robe. He is just a very witchy, wizard, whatever type character. And I always see the Magician as someone who is capable of being successful, someone who is capable of manifesting things from energy or their mental state, or the resources around them and all that, being able really at all of that, using your resources around you, your intelligence, your ability just to bring things into this world, into the physical world. You're able to make shit happen, basically. It's the Magician. The Witch card, I like to call it. In some decks, it is a witch. In the Witch's Tarot, though, it's more that masculine witch energy, that manifestation card. So, as it relates to me in this situation, that's interesting. You know, because like I said, like I just went through, this is about a card of manifestation and being successful, being able to use your resources and be successful. So I do see that though, because I am somebody, like I said, with the Nine of Cups, that really just dedicates myself, and that's another thing witches do, where they're dedicated, right, to the craft. So in this situation, I am dedicated. I am already looking up to new things, learning more things about raising babies, that I didn't know before, that I haven't really looked at in a long time. Trying to learn as much as I can and do what I can with my resources and all that type of thing. So that's me. I'm trying to be the best mom I can be, okay? So be a better mom than I was to my other kids when I was younger. So I could definitely see how that is me. My attitude towards it, I was like, well, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna go all the way, and I'm gonna be great. You know, it might. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. It might not be, you know, what I was planning, but it's what's happening, and I'm gonna make it the best I can, and I'm gonna be the best I can. So that makes sense with the magician, definitely. That is me, all the way with any situation like that. So even though it wasn't what I was wanting, it's something I'm gonna go full in on and do my best at. I'm not gonna keep being the Five of Cups. I'm gonna get over it and do my best. You know, that's where I'm at right now, that transition phase of really embracing it and doing the best I can. Okay, so the second card that goes above this card, as we go bottom up, right? It is, it signifies the house, the environment in the affair, the influence, people and events about him. Yeah, it's a people and events card. So kind of like the other people around you and how they're influencing this situation. And we have another trump card. Oh my goodness. If it's 4 trump cards, that's just gonna blow my mind. We'll see. But we have the Hanged Man, and there he is hanging from the tree. You have the raven up there with a pentacle. You know, of course, the halo around his head, because, you know, he's kind of an enlightened fellow. And so forth. So, and you kind of look, he's really high up. Look, he's in the clouds and stuff. Like his tree is up in the air. So anyway, so this is other people and stuff. And the Hangman is about this other perspective. That definitely clicks with me, especially in this situation. I don't have very many real life friends. Most of the people I interact with are online because I live in a little Christian community. I have tattoos, not only tattoos, but like esoteric tattoos that they don't understand. A lot of people think I'm like a devil worshiper or something because I have pinnacles, I have a star, you know, that right there. You know, they see an upside down star and think I'm a Satanist. It's actually a combination of 13 stars, and it is homage to the goddess. That's what that star means. It's not not a Lucifer tattoo. It is a goddess tattoo. It's a 13 stars. So anyway, so that's kind of like other people around me, but since I've had a baby, people seem to be very supportive, and I think everybody's just excited about a baby and stuff. So now that I'm pregnant, I have more people, you know, being supportive and so forth. Okay, so maybe me being in this situation has changed their perspective, and also their new perspective has changed my perspective, right? Seeing people being excited for me and my significant other, and so forth, has made me a little bit more excited, right? Like the one friend I really am close to in this town, is excited, you know. So I think her being excited and so forth, really has influenced me to get more excited about having this baby and so forth, and it being a good experience. And realizing I have more support than I thought I had. So there's that. Next card is it signifies hopes and fears. Mine. It says his, because it's, from the early 1900s, so definitely that masculine skew. But hopes and fears. Oh, not a major this time. We're going back to the Pentacles, like the first card I drew. I drew the Ace. Now we have number 2, the 2 of Pentacles. And you see, of course, you have the Infinity. That is common in the 2 of Pentacles. He's kind of just holding them there with his mind, right? Not really juggling per se. If you look at his face, he has this really concentrated face, like he is like doing this telekinesis act more than a juggling act. So anyway, and again, of course, you have the turbulent waters back here, which you often see with a 2 of Pentacles, because this is kind of a turbulent card. It's like really you have to use a lot of energy to get this balance, right? That this is a lot of work to get balance. So, and I see that a lot as a 2 of Pentacles. When you get a 2 of Pentacles, there's a lot of work to be done. So, and this is the hopes and fears. I think one fear is keeping a balance in my life, being able to balance this new baby and, still raise the child that still lives with me. When she finishes high school, this child will be 3, so I'll have a little toddler and I'll have a kid I'm trying to put through college at the same time. A lot of financial stress, right? And that's going to be a huge balancing act. So I think it's really, though, like I said, the fear aspect is definitely being able to balance life with this new responsibility in so many ways, even emotionally and so forth. And that's something that came up in the beginning, why I wasn't seeing the good in the situation, because I just saw so much stress, my life just totally being rearranged, and not know what's going to happen, not knowing if I could do it and all that. Don't know if I can do this, if I can keep the balance in my life that I was finding and being off kilter and so forth. And also the hope that I can do this, that I can keep a balance in my life. Okay, last card. And it represents what will come. It's the future card. Finally, the future card. And we have, a major. Oh no. Guess what it is. It's a not so good major. In this deck, it's called the Shadow Side. It is 15, the devil. So since the witches don't believe in the devil, she changed it up to the shadow side to kind of get the meaning behind the devil card, then and not focus it on the devil. Even though you have this mysterious figure here that these kids are, I see them as kids. Maybe they're not kids, but they're kind of hiding behind, right? They're hiding from. And it's just funny because we're going back to the 4 cups again. And the 4 cups is like more stubbornness and not wanting to see things. And then you have this card where it's like, yeah, really more of that stubbornness, not wanting to change, especially when you're talking about bad habits and so forth. So, but it's the future card, so what the heck? I guess what I see for me, the significance in the future as far as the shadow side, I think is really embracing it. That's something I've really been working more towards, is embracing my shadow side. I have seen with my other children how I've passed on fears. I've passed on things I didn't want to pass on, especially emotionally and mentally, and I'm trying to fix. One of the reasons I got nervous about having a baby is like, oh, am I going to screw this child up again? Am I going to have the energy to keep that work with my daughter and trying to fix the things that I feel like I broke or didn't do her justice? And again, justice card, right? The obstacles. So I'm trying to fix the injustices that happened with my daughter, and I'm worried about doing it again with another child. So the future, I think, is facing the shadow side. Like I said, it's already something I've been working on, trying to really work with my shadow side, and like I said, do better this time, and not uh, pass on my fears, pass on any, negativity that I taught my other children, because I didn't face it. I was like them. I was hiding from it, and so forth. So I can see that. At first you're like, ugh, but really this is a lot of work card. What card was it? I don't know. There's another card. Oh, the last one. Two of Pentacles. Like I was saying, the Two of Pentacles is a lot of work. So in the future card, it's like, yes, there's a lot of work with this. It's going to take a lot of work spiritually, mentally, physically, to be that great mom I want to be, to have that connection, to not be, depressed and so forth. There was a lot of this bad stuff that happened in my early childhood and in my teenage years, and it really set me up for a lot of obstacles in my early adulthood, which at the same time I was raising my daughter, and I wanted to be a lot better mom than I was, and I found that a lot of it was, like I said, not facing that shadow side, but really before I started learning tarot, before I started learning tarot, I was into all kinds of different witchcraft, not just Wicca, but, pagan stuff, and all that. My dog wants pets. It's not pet time. Anyway, I was into all of that, trying to better myself. And before that, I was really, really into Christianity and so forth, and doing all these Bible studies, trying to better myself. As soon as I got out of the bad environment of my childhood, I was really looking to better myself. And going into tarot really helped with that. So in the future, yeah, is facing more of the demons, or the shadow side of myself, and overcoming that, because it's taken many years of work to get where I am now. I think that's the good thing about having this baby, is it's pushing me even more. I was already being pushed, like I said. My daughter I have, I'm trying to right the injustices I think I've either let happen to her or have imposed myself, because I wasn't facing a lot of demons of my past. So, that's going to be a big influence on me, to push me even more than I already was being pushed, to fix myself. Is to just, better myself, and, get away. Usually in the devil card you have chains and so forth, and I always think of those chains and how they're really easy to remove, but mentally impossible, right? We don't think we can mentally, but really they are. So hopefully I can. I think so. I think that's what it's signifying as my future, is not necessarily it's facing the shadow side, not being overtaken by the shadow side. And it's, like I said, it's already something I'm actively working on, and have been for years. So I think this situation, though, like I said, is pushing me even more, and it's another chance to do better. Like a lot of people said, I've said, it's like, wow, it's like, being in your late 30s raising a baby, but it's like another opportunity to do better. Like, now you can do all the stuff you looked back on, regretted doing. Now you can fix it. And I feel that with this is an opportunity to just do things how I saw was a better way and regretted not being able to do with my other kids. I can do it with this one. I can do things so much differently. I can use all the stuff that I learned and implement it. But it is going to be a rough ride, because looking back and seeing, oh, I should have done it this way, is totally different than actually doing it. Actually being a calmer parent, being in a better relationship where I'm supported instead of, treated like a child, basically, or told, everything I'm doing wrong, all that kind of stuff. Being in a more supportive relationship than one that's kind of tears you down is going to make a big difference. Because I see that my last marriage is one where the shadow side was strong, and I wasn't seeing it. And as I started seeing it and started working with it, it changed. It came to the point where I did get that divorce, because I was like, I'm just seeing how all these things I learned in childhood, through the trauma of childhood, being utilized. Like I tell a lot of people, it's not like my husband is the one that caused all this. It's just kind of like he was utilizing all these presets, all these things I learned as a kid through the trauma and everything else. It's kind of like taking advantage of all these things I learned through the trauma. So as I started getting out of that, started enlightening myself, started working with my shadow side, started meditating more, started using tarot, and doing meditation and spells and all these things, really showing me that this is what's happening, and then actually taking action to change it. It's been a crazy ride. So yeah, I see more of that in my future. But like I said, I see it actually facing it, actually not being like these kids who are hiding, but to actually step out there and face him. And I think too, if you look at this card, back here, there's this great light. So I think how I interpret this is, once you stop hiding and you face him and you get past him, you have this bright light. You have this, the light at the end of the tunnel. You have this euphoria, or you have, what this shadow guy's blocking. He's like blocking the light, the enlightenment, the better life, and so forth. Whatever it is, that, angels singing heaven, that's what's back there, as I see it, is, just the good thing. Like when you realize that, like bad habits, like I said, when you get rid of that bad habit, like, I guess I could do like cigarette smoking. I used to smoke cigarettes for a very long time. I quit when I was pregnant, and then within the first year of their life, I'd end up back with it, usually because the influence of others, of my significant other, and so forth. And right before I started learning tarot, actually, I quit smoking. And now I'm at this point in my life of being like 7 years of quit, being like, I can't imagine myself smoking now. This is great. I love being a non-smoker. So that's kind of the light. It's like, oh wow, now I have this life. I don't have this chain that I thought I couldn't get rid of anymore. So that's how I see this card as the future card. Because at first you're going to be like, oh, the devil card, you're screwed. That's not good. But really, no, like I said, it's positive as far as, like I said, getting to that point. So I definitely have the shadow side with this situation in the beginning, like I said, because I wasn't looking for this situation. I was avoiding getting into a real commitment. I was not wanting to have any more kids, which is another commitment. It's just everything I was just really avoiding is it dumped in my lap, like, no, you're gonna do this. So, and to be honest, before I had the baby, you know, I really, like I said, I do love this person. I have thought about marrying him before. It's not that I got pregnant. Oh shit, we've been together for 3 years already. Um, before I got pregnant, so it's not like, oh, we just got together. Like I said, we talked about getting married and stuff before, and I just let my fear take over and be like, no, it's still gonna be a while. This baby will be about a year old when we get married. So, and it's going to be a hand fasting, so which is great because he's not pagan, but uh, you know, he's learned about hand fasting and stuff, so, and is totally down with that. So because we do have a pretty good partnership, so I think this whole baby thing, like I said, really relates with my relationship too. And again, facing that shadow, getting rid of that fear of commitment because it didn't work out before. Because, you know, I got married real quick with my last husband, and I had a baby and so forth, and I felt stuck, right? And so forth. So I carried that fear over. So I need to face that shadow side, that fear, and realize, dude, if I get over it, there's that light on the other side of this great relationship, right? So that's my interpretation. Almost an hour video. It's a big spread. Oh my goodness. So, and I had a great time doing it. So there you go. The lesson of the 4 cups. A spread I absolutely hate, have avoided for years, have really brought about some great insights, and really food for thought. And I hope you liked hearing the interpretations and so forth. Really opened you up. And I hope to see other people do the Celtic Cross or whatever spread you absolutely hate, and see what you are missing. So, thank you for watching, and blessed be.